How's it going? It's Grant.
It's Vibes, the one on one.
We're on the Garden of Eder. Surprise guest. Sadly, baby Myra is sick. She's got RSV, and Mama Shelby is taking care of her. I wasn't able to participate. Vibes is in town. We didn't know if we were going to be hanging out tomorrow. We ended up hanging out yesterday. And, well, kind of said you just really don't have much to do the next 2 days. So I was like, well, you're more than welcome to come hang out with us on stream. I had to get packages and orders out. Shelby took the baby to the doctors, and then I had to go shopping, get a bunch of eucalyptus oil and Vicks baby vapor rub, and had to go to 2 different stores for that one and get a prescription and a bunch of other stuff so that way the baby was comfortable and Shelby was comfortable as well. I'm fine, so Vibes is good, the kids are good. I just think it's the baby catching the tail end of it, and they've been pretty much locked up. You haven't even seen Shelby. You haven't.
I thought Shelby.
Well, she popped out of the door, but
right.
Yeah, she didn't join us for dinner or anything like that. But he's going to join us, fill in the spot for tonight, and then on top of that, we've got a couple giveaways to do. I've already started it out. Doing pretty well without Shelby. I'm learning. It's taken her enough times to show me how to do it. But hashtag TGOE, we're going to give away a $25 gift card. We'll give that away here in about 30 minutes. Tonight's topic for the live stream, though, is the year of 2024, the overall end cap. What did we do? And basically, this year I chewed off a little bit more than I could, or I bit off more than I could chew. Oh man, it was a rough night. Especially when you don't know what's wrong with the baby and everything like that. So, and it hurts when she's coughing, and she went from like such a peaceful, precious little baby to now.
Right. And no, I'm not going to try to fill in for Shelby at all. Shelby does a wonderful job. I'm just a Band-Aid. Show up when the work's done.
But you'll definitely liven it up. Shelby, it doesn't bother Shelby too much when there's like a moment of silence on the live stream, but
it bothers you.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's like the ADHD mind or something like that. You got to keep them entertained, you know.
True.
But we definitely had a jam-packed year. Our year had started off kind of crappy. We had got back from Aquascape and got a notice from our insurance company that they were no longer going to be insuring houses in the state of Florida. So we definitely had to go 4 months into the year with added stress. You didn't know if we were going to get a letter from the mortgage company with forced insurance, and it was going to be way more than we could afford and have to move all the tanks. To make it worse, right before we got that letter, we basically built a whole stand by the front door. So it just sucked having to find a new insurance company, not being able to really do anything because you didn't know if you had to move out or anything. So I really wanted to get the entire house done with 500 tanks in the house last year. It's done now. You haven't been able to see the new room. There was a picture on Facebook, so there is proof of the new room exists, and it's all set, not fully set up. Shelby had the goal to set her half up by the end of the year, but because of the baby, I don't think that's going to happen. We're not even going to go to Lucas Brett's house tomorrow.
What?
It's a 2-hour drive with the baby, and it's not the best if poor little Wesley could also get sick for his birthday too. So
that would not be good.
We got to go up there probably with Joey DIY anyways, and we'll probably just celebrate Wesley's birthday then.
Nice.
Let the kids have some fun. So we've got good part to the rest of the year, though. The insurance was really that I'm going to talk about, the real downer for the year. But to start off the year, I was telling Vibes this already. I had a buddy who needed some help catching some plecos down in Miami, and one of it was the Fort Myers Club down in South Florida, had asked me if I wanted to speak. And at first I told them no, and then Mark was like, I need help catching plecos. And I was like, well, I'll come down and help. This club asked me to come to talk. The club was like a little more than halfway to Miami to go help them out. So I spoke at the club, which was really cool experience because it was like inside not a research center, not a museum. Oh man, I don't know, like an education center maybe.
Okay.
But they had like a little miniature IMAX theater.
No,
and
that's cool.
And I got to speak in there, and my whole presentation was like blown up larger than I've ever seen it. The largest shrimp I've ever seen. You know what I mean?
Right.
A little bit bigger than the Aquascape shrimp, and they were actually my shrimp, so It wasn't a saltwater fire shrimp.
Right.
By the way, I gotta point out, I am rocking the Vibes mug tonight. So.
And I'm rocking the T-shirt, TGLE.
And that wasn't my only talk that month, and it wasn't even my only talk in Florida that month, because prior to that, I had also scheduled a talk for the Space Coast, which is in the opposite. Oh man, that came out real like boss to me.
It did.
On the opposite side of Florida, and that was at the Space Coast, and that was my first time going to that club meeting. It is 3 hours away. I wish it wasn't. There's a lot of good Florida clubs that just simply don't have enough time to go to them all. I think there's 5 that meet every single month.
Wow.
We're lucky that we get to go to 2, unless we're traveling, and then we miss them, sadly. So, but that's pretty much all we had booked for January. Next month, we don't have anything booked. We were thinking about possibly doing vending one of the Repticons, but I'm pretty sure it's probably too late to get in on that, even if I wanted to. And it's not even something I'm going to look into until the baby's all right and we're seeing how we're doing. But I had planned that January was going to be like our month off.
Right.
We had such a busy year this year that we're not going to do that. And by the way, the calendar is, of course, a shrimp calendar. It's the American Shrimp the American Shrimp calendar. This was an orange-eyed metallic purple for the month of January.
And are these your shrimp or they?
No, I have some shrimp. I have a shrimp in here, so it's a bunch of breeders. The guy that put it together, though, I think he got too busy with a different job, and he isn't doing shrimp full time anymore, like I thought he was going to. So February, which is from Shrimp Envy, we've got a Shadow Missoura.
Nice.
And the month of February, on top of it being Valentine's Day, and Shelby and my anniversary is also that month as well. So we don't try to schedule too much on that month. It's also a shorter month,
right?
But it's also the Florida State Fair. So like in the early month, we set up our tanks at the fair. I set up 3 tanks, I think. The kids both set up a tank, and Shelby did 2 tanks. Or maybe she did 3 tanks. I think she did 3 tanks also. And we did all right, but Dharmesh took home the best of the show. We missed the entry this year. So if you entered for the Florida State Fair this year, I sadly will not be competing. Neither will any of the kids. We also will be somewhere next year during the usual setup days. So we weren't able to get an extension on that, and it was just too much stress. And then by the time I figured out I was able to do it on Monday, we had missed the entry. So we won't be entering it this year. It'll be like the first time in, I don't know, 6 or 7 years we haven't entered.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah. But we'll probably still go to the Florida State Fair. We may get a habit every year to eat a bunch of bad food. And then the kids enjoy the rides. Layla more than the others. And then in March, we have Aquamania. I believe that one is in North Carolina. It's just a one-day show. It was on Saturday. Not to rag on any of the shows, But this year, for basically all vendors, all shows except for Aquascape, were not good shows. Like, not compared to the years prior. They were still worth going to, of course. I'll still go to them again next year. But it was definitely harder to make money this year than it was any other year. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go back in the chat real quick.
Yeah.
EJ, hope the baby is okay. I might have had an ear infection in both ears and pneumonia. I hope yours is all right as well. I think she's fine after she just took a shower. She's still all smiles and giggles. It just hurts when she gets vocal and starts coughing and stuff like that. So how far do we live from one another? You live in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
So I think that's like 17-hour.
That sounds about like
17 hours. I know Dallas is 17-hour drive. Are you on the other side of Dallas? Are you west of
I'm
Dallas?
about straight south of Dallas.
So probably 18 hours to get to Austin. He's here visiting family in Dade City, which is only 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
Was it a 20-minute ride
No.
straight here?
I had traffic.
Oh, you had traffic.
So it was about a 2-4 hour traffic.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But it wasn't 100%.
Yeah. Did you go down Ayers Road? Do you know?
I don't know.
All right.
I follow the GPS.
I know. I do the same thing when people ask me, but that road is one of the roads I took to work a lot. Vibes is the eye candy tonight.
Thanks. And that.
So I'm really bad at reading chat. Usually Shelby has all this pre-brought up, and the glare off the light, it makes it super hard to see.
Is that better, y'all? Now I can't see y'all.
But I think that's all for chat for now until we get to Jeff Kane with the $1.99 super sticker. Thank you, Jeff Kane. Appreciate your support. Definitely, just like Vibes, you're always welcome to come by the house and check it out. Oh,
He did the vibe sticker.
I didn't know you had your own sticker on YouTube.
I did. It's only though. It's kind of dope.
Yeah, that's cool.
Thanks, Jeff Kane.
Appreciate that, Jeff. Justin said, man, everyone is sick all over the United States. It's insane how many people in New York City, including myself, pneumonia for the 5th time in a year. Yeah, I'm lucky enough. I really do never get sick. And if I do get sick, it's like a quick, I'm sick for like 6 hours. I yak up and then I'm good. I'm good after that. So, hey, Jesse, how are the Newts doing? I know he said, hey, Grant, but I switched it on. The Newts are doing great. I showed Vibes all the Newts. Now he gets to see why we're so distracted.
Right.
They're Shelby thinks they're gross, but
They're kind of unique.
they're derpy, and I love them, and that's all I care about. And that one, it's like he knows we're talking about it or something. They're so weird and personable. And then the other ones, you got to see those.
Right.
You did not see the Men in Black one in its stance, but you did get to see all of the turtles outside.
Yes.
And when we told the kids that, they're like, no way. Like, there's no way. Because Layla feeds the turtles every day, and she's never seen all the turtles in one day.
Wow.
I kid you not. Like, seeing all 4 of the female terrapins at one time, you always see 3.
Right.
And the male is almost never, he never shows himself. And then you saw the loggerhead and the other musk turtle. There is more turtles in the garage. I didn't show you either.
Oh, yeah, you didn't. No.
We stepped into the garage. I don't know why we didn't continue to venture out.
It's all good.
But yeah, the newts are doing good. The sirens are doing good too. I haven't moved the sirens into one of the tanks yet because I'm worried they would eat my fish that I brought in from outside. So there's not that many of them. Those are my double swordtail Japanese swordtails, and I've had those longer than any other guppy strain I've had. So they get a 55-gallon tank when they come inside, all of them themselves.
Nice.
Did you just watch that Tiger Limia ride the bubbles? I saw that. I don't know if you saw the same
No,
thing.
I missed that. But no, that's one thing that stood out to me when I came in yesterday. Like, what? Leave me as just like, wow, it popped out.
Did you see this tank yesterday?
Is it right here?
Yeah.
I'm not. I just know it's just now.
It's a hidden tank. Not a lot of people have seen that one.
What is it?
It's just like a 7.5 gallon fluval tank. It's an old one. I've got my isopods and then my emeralds. It was in the bedroom, and I just didn't want to tear it down. It's one of the old ones.
Right.
So the net fell in it. Ignore the net.
I saw.
Ignore the net. You didn't see that.
I'm kidding, y'all.
But here we got Scotty here said I have my RODI set up and I'm adding multiple Caradina tanks. My PRLs are breeding like crazy. Lost my PBLs, so we'll be doing an order. Also want to add what, Scotty? I feel like there's more coming. How much longer is the shrimp sale going for? The shrimp sale is going until Tuesday night, midnight, all across the world. The last chance to order is the first of the year, pretty much.
So is that the Eastern time zone, or is that when it's cut off?
I'm not particular. It's honestly when I wake up on the first. So
so order before he wakes up.
On the first, at some point, I'm gonna start changing prices. But everything is buy 10 get 3 free.
Nice.
It is not still buy 5 get 2 free. Those were the Black Friday sales. Those ended in November. But the buy 10 get 3 free is the winter sales. And I didn't change like any of the prices. A lot of the shrimp are off the website, but I don't know. Shelby's just unique equals gross. Unique does not equal gross. I don't.
I did not say that, Shelby. I didn't say that. The different, but interesting. I'm actually thinking about adding my cookie. Yeah.
You got to make a turtle video, or I'm gonna have to come to Florida. I definitely just need to get more videos done. Vibes was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well," and I'll get to this more later. But the kids, Jaden and Layla, growing up, I missed all the baby stages, like her growing up, going through all the diapers and everything like that. I just kind of went to work and then came home, and any energy I had, I kind of like had the baby and cuddled the baby, helped Shelby with what I could, but I didn't get to enjoy anything because you work your butt off outside, you're melting your brain, and I was awfully gingerly and frail and burnt really easily, so my mind was melted and fried at the end of the day, and I just didn't enjoy the kids as much as I'm enjoying Myra growing up right now. So Shelby's doing her thing with Pisces and other things around the house, and I'm just hanging out and playing with the baby and really enjoying it. So this last month I thought I would be cranking out a lot of content. And instead, I think I took a step back to enjoy the family a little bit more, and I think that's a little bit more important right now because the content will come. We've got videos ready to go, so that's not going to be lost. But what has been lost is overworking, and I'm after I go through everything, I'm like I took a month off.
Overworking and underpaid.
Yeah. How many people get sick within 2 weeks? Yeah, it's a lot. Something's been going around. Thank you, Monster Fish Gal, for sharing the website. How big are your tangerine tigers now? We've got quite a few tanks, and some of them are pretty monster in size. That's a Shelby question, though. She looks at those more than I do. I just kind of feed them and run along. Now I'm good with the pure red lines. What is next line for me to get? Probably some Tybees, some fancy tigers, and then some pintos. All right, caught up on chat. Grant, your red tiger is matured enough to sell some, maybe some Aurora tigers. I think I could do some Aurora tigers. I don't know about the red tigers. I would have to feed those, and you'd have to ask me in the future. Which tank in the TGOE house is Vibe's favorite?
Wow. I'm kind of leaning on either the linear tank or the newt. Those are the ones that stood out to me. All the other ones are just shrimp tanks, y'all. Yeah.
What about the biter tank? I think that one's
That one's
nicer than the Limia tank, but the Limias are in there. So
Yeah,
if you like the
Limias.
Limias, I can understand
Yeah.
that, but I like the biter.
Yeah, the biter is cool.
Also in the month of March, we did Global. Global Pet Expo is like everything from kangaroos to cats. You know how big Aquashella is? They have that many vendors for just cat collars.
Wow.
It is insane how many like collar booths there are, how many dog toy booths there are. There's people selling cricket chow, and Josh's Frogs has a booth, and Aqua L. We were scaping for Fluval and Carib Sea, but that is also where Shelby got in contact with Brandy and actually met face to face on a first name basis, and now Shelby's working with Pisces. So that show kind of really set off the year to be more insane than what I thought. When I originally was gonna, had planned this year out, there wasn't as much stuff on the calendar, and Global added on a few things, and one of those was the Las Vegas show, Super Zoo. So I'll get to that later, but. And then I also did my taxes in March, and I got those done. Goal is to do those way earlier this year.
Yes.
But then we have my photo, and this is my kiwi Tai bee Caridina shrimp, not a Neocaridina. It's a green one. This month was also pretty busy, but let's catch back up and chat. Oh, man. Are you ready for January 11th? Oh, so yeah, next month Joey DIY is coming to speak. When you said ready for January 11th, I was like, I got nothing going on in January. What's that? I remembered before I could say that.
And it's local here?
Yeah, it's like 13 minutes away from me.
Nice.
Yeah. So we got definitely going to be placing an order tomorrow. Commonwealth fly you an email asking, but if you have them, I'll definitely take them. Yeah, I should. I definitely got to feed everything tomorrow. So,
hey Rachel, Luke Cats, get well. I saw you coming.
Who's that weirdo sitting next? That's me.
That's Grant.
Yeah, that's me. All right. So for April, we have the Riley AGA, which we missed. We were planning on doing AGA that year, but the NEC had asked me way before AGA even announced their dates that, or asked me if I would speak, and I agreed. And let me tell you about the NEC. The NEC had all the bells and whistles of the Keystone Clash, but not the people. So there was a very few of us. Ryan and myself drove up from Florida. Ryan actually took a ferry. He drove his truck, took a ferry over to the expo, and then took a train home.
What?
With his truck. Yeah. So
that's dope.
Ryan's an overachiever.
Yes.
But that was a great show. I spoke. Gary Lane spoke. Can't remember who the other speakers were. I just remember hanging out with Gary. Skipper made that show, and Skipper was like, "Oh man, you got to come hang out with us," and I was like, "I just got to find a charger for my cell phone. I'm going out to the car," and it's like, "Oh come on, we're all around the corner. Come hang out." And I was like, "All right, I'll drop this phone charger off to Shelby. I'll come hang out." And then Skipper wasn't even there. He bailed on me.
Man,
but I got to hang out with Sabu and Gary Lang. And
nice.
Gary Lang gave me this whole spiel about how I shouldn't have all my eggs in one basket. And I was like, Gary, that's what I'm doing the plants. But now looking back on that, I should have went, Gary, I'm starting with the bottom of the food chain. As soon as these stop selling, I'll move on to rainbows. And that would have made his night. I would have saw the biggest smile on Gary's face ever. So, and then also the highlight for that show, me and Shelby, and this is in April. It's still cold up there. In New Haven, Connecticut, we waited for 45 minutes outside, and neither one of us had any attire for cold weather. For Sally's a Pizza, which was one of Barstool's top-rated pizza ratings, and it was bad because it ruined pizza everywhere else we go. Like nothing even compares to how good it was.
Right.
Kind of like something else that happened. I'll talk about that later too, probably. I'm giving out too many things way too early before I get to them. I did have golf scheduled on that day. I don't normally write it on the calendar,
but
so
it was not good one.
That must have been a nice one. And then Layla had a field trip that month. So not a lot going on in April. In May was Dallas Aquashella, and that's where Vibes comes into play, because actually you were there. So tell them about Dallas Aquashella, and I'll read a little bit on chat.
All right. Dallas Aquashella started. I showed up on Wednesday night, Thursday morning, and the event was basically empty. But Grant Shelby wanted help set all the shrimp tanks up. We did that on Thursday, got them all set up perfectly. On Friday, Shelby took filled the tanks with water, etc., put shrimp in. The event was great. And then Sunday evening, Grant wanted some more help again. So me and Nick Austin and another Mike, we tore them all down, put them back in the boxes, packaged them up.
Mike Esposito, right?
Yeah.
Old man Mike?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was good times.
And mind you, all right, you left out. I won the Aquascape contest.
So,
yeah, I had to throw that one in there. Just a little quick one.
And FYI.
But man, the funniest thing was in February, Lady Diane watched the video of Richard Reynolds' video of our house, and Shelby was in the video, and Lady Diane messaged us and said, "Hey, I don't want to be rude, but are you guys expecting Shelby is glowing?" So Shelby at that time was only a month or 2 months pregnant. So for Lady Diane to call it, and then we go to Dallas. And Mike Esposito, the reason why he was helping on Sunday so hard was because he guessed it. Uh-huh. And by the way, if anyone asked us if she was pregnant, I never lied. I just wasn't telling anybody because we hadn't had a chance to tell my family yet.
Right.
So, and we just didn't tell anybody, but we needed help. And Mike, New Look Austin, and Vibes stepped up to the plate, knocked it out of the park. Shelby said she killed it. I tore down the booth, and then before I knew it, Shelby was coming over to ask me if I needed help. And I was like, what is going on? And we you should have still been at the contest, but it's not your first time tearing it down either. So when you have good help, it's easy to get things moving. It's hard to get good help when it's their first time because you're almost teaching them more than it is you're getting time saved. So also, I think Shelby's gotten it mastered on exactly where to put things and get things knocked out. Before I go on, this was probably the funniest thing. Steven said, "No, you should have told Gary you were working on new hybrid strains of rainbows." Gary is very against hybridization of rainbow fish. He is label them, location, breeder, everything. Keep them separated. Oh man, that would have been hilarious. Gary's got a great sense of humor too. And he had just been to my house, so he knows I wasn't going to be working on no hybrid rainbows.
That would be, yeah.
Because this thing was in April. Yeah, he had been in my house in this November, the year prior, so it's not even 6 months. And then Scotty asked if there's a way to sort the website based on type, like which type are tie bees and fancy tigers. No, I just have them broken up as like Neos and Carradina for now. Maybe eventually that's a good thing, or good point. We should do that. But the more tabs you add to some of the websites, the more chaotic and confusing it makes it for some people. So we've tried to keep less is more into play here. But I don't know. We'll think about it. I know Shelby's behind the scenes listening. I don't know how active she is in chat.
And is it 30 minutes since we started?
That's why I have the co-host.
Haha.
So we have share screen, Fish Fam tool, share that. All right, one entry.
Refresh. 32 entries.
32.
Nice.
All right. That was your final. All right. Congratulations, Justin. I guess that'll go towards your new order.
Nice.
Please let us know you're still in chat. I'm pretty sure he is. He's asking us active questions currently. By the way, you don't have to enter again. It's going to be hashtag TGOE all night just to make things easier on me. I'm not the technical genius that Shelby is, so the whole less is more is being carried on as much as I can, right?
I like this. I need to start with my channel doing the same thing.
Well, we talked about that too,
right?
Just a little bit last night. Vibes was hitting me with those professional YouTuber questions while we were at Texas Roadhouse. I almost felt guilty taking a Texan to Texas Roadhouse.
It was good though.
It was not good. They messed up both of our steaks. They messed up both of our steaks. You know what was good though? The ice cream. The ice cream afterwards.
That was good.
You could say that was good.
No, the rolls with the bill was good.
The rolls were fire. Yeah. I ate 4 rolls. I brought Shelby home 4 rolls because she couldn't go. So she got the best of Texas Roadhouse. So, and it was the last thing I ordered too. So they're still warm when we got home. But he asked me a question. You know, how do you cut back from doing YouTube? And I think I kind of laid it out for him. Shelby's a madman for doing 2 live streams, but she's getting paid to do it. That's her job. So one of them I can't count on. And then she's not even here for this week. So what is she actually doing? You know? But no, she works extra hard. But you're doing a short every other day, and it's a lot, man. And you can get burnt out. And one of the things that I feel like a little bit rejuvenated is like it kind of took a month off. I was doing a shrimp post every single day.
Right.
And I told them like we hit the sales, and I was like, I don't want to post this shrimp because I don't even have it for sale, let alone it's not on sale. So I started posting the shrimp that were on sale, and now I have to go back through and figure out which ones aren't and on. And it was like, I don't know. I'm just gonna take a break, and then if I repost in the future, it's not the end of the world. It's been long enough.
Right.
And a lot of the bigger channels repost a lot. Like I see this same video, not to hate on Dan the Turtle Man, but like I've seen his video of him finding a baby turtle in his old pond at his old house. Like 30 times reposted probably on different platforms throughout the years. Maybe it's the same time every year during breeding season. And I've known him. I follow all of this stuff. But like he does repost. So I don't know. I've just never tried to repost them.
Yeah, I haven't either.
We did the Easter egg. I reposted that because it was like a seasonal thing.
Right.
But like every year, I try to pick out a new shrimp and draw Easter egg. Easter bunny ears on it to keep it seasonal, keep it fresh. Why is this on?
I don't know.
I know I did. So,
And he's the chat. He answered Justin did.
and then we've got 10 gifted memberships from Jeff Kane. Thank you, Jeff. Really appreciate
The
that.
legend.
Yeah, for real. Every channel that I actually go on, there's Jeff Kane giving away gifts all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and another, is this separate? This
Yeah.
is separate. Another $10 Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Yeah, I was going to start saying Happy New Year at the very end because this year's blown by now.
So
it was slow at first.
So it's not happy?
Oh, it's Happy New
Okay.
Year. Oh, it's a little sour with the baby being sick right now. Like, I'm not going to, and we're also missing Wesley's birthday party. So it is a little not as happy as it could have been.
But Vibes is here, so it's going to be okay.
It's all right. Thank you, Jeff. Really appreciate your support. How long does a brackish tank take to cycle? For Opaula shrimp, should I start with a new tank or use fresh water? So I'll be honest, Opaula are the one shrimp that I don't care if you don't cycle the tank for. They're filter feeders. You can get the water a little bit dirty. They're not really going to suffer if the nitrates or ammonia get that high. I've seen if as long as they don't get really cold, they should be fine. So you can set up a tank pretty much the same day and throw Opaula in. When we got the mud skipper from Richard, I set the mud skipper up with brackish water, and I threw Opaula in the same day. And if it wasn't for the mud skipper sniping the Opaula off the shore, they would have been just fine. But most of them learned to go to the other side of the tank.
Nice.
But yeah, the Opaula are really resilient. How's it going, Papa Shrimp?
Papa Shrimp?
He's a fellow Texan. I got him right
Yeah,
for you.
he was my buddy.
Here's Justin's what? He won. So email us at thegardenofeater@gmail.com, and then we'll be giving another one of those away in another 23 minutes, courtesy of Vibes Alert. And then, that's going to go towards your order. And then, I just got to figure out now if your shrimp are available or not.
KFC's chat comment.
Where's KFC?
KFC,
Okay.
right there.
Down more?
No, up. Right there. Hey, man, you push buttons.
Without breaking anything.
Mm-hmm. You did pretty good.
So far. Still up and running. Yeah, dude. He called you, like my friend Eddie up there. I had a moment at Aquascape Daytona where Harley was like, "Yeah, Eddie," and I'm like, "Eddie," because I know you as Elijah and Vibes, and I was like, "You mean Elijah?" And he's like, "Dude, have I been calling him Eddie this whole time?" And I was like, "Dude, I'm pretty sure his name is Elijah." And I pulled up your thing, and I'm like, "See, it's Elijah." And he's like, "Oh, dude, I saved his name as Eddie in my phone." And then I was like, before he could say something and apologize, I stopped him. I'm like, hold on, I'm pretty sure he goes by Eddie too. I don't know why, but I'm pretty sure people call him Eddie too. I don't know why. It's clicking now. It's working.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. I think you're good. So, and then I had to ask you, like, I was like behind the scenes, like, is it Eddie too? Like, what's going on here? You got too many names.
Yeah, I do. Which is not good.
It's all right. All right, we already read that one. Now I'm caught back up.
TJ,
how's it going, TJ?
my co-host.
I would be. Oh, now I know what type of shrimp I would be. Opaula. I do like a little dirty. I should not just pull up these.
Right.
All All right, I'm caught up now. So I already talked about the Aquascape contest, but Dallas Aquashella, I had the Bloomfields from Shrimp Envy and Tim, Cryptkeeper, running my booth.
Mm-hmm.
And if it wasn't for them, I couldn't have done the Aquascape contest solo. Shelby did her own tank, and the coolest thing was Shelby got second place right behind me.
Yeah.
So she got like best use of hardscape and best use of color. But I took the overall win. Both qualified us so that we could skate separately in Daytona. So I really enjoyed that aspect. I got to give a big shout out to them for being able to help us. But that was also our best show, not of the year, but like ever. Like we did better at that Aquashella Dallas than we have done at any other show by far, by a good amount. We sold out of a lot of the stuff on Saturday.
Nice.
So I don't know how well we could have done if I had brought like double of the stuff that we had sold out like halfway through on Saturday, because we could have maybe sold out again on Saturday, and then maybe even had more sales on Sunday for the other stuff too. So, but the craziest thing about Dallas though was we missed like the biggest show in Florida for many years because we were in Dallas the same weekend. And I'm crazy. I was like, Shelby, we should do Dallas, do the Aquascape contest, and then fly home Saturday, and then participate in IBC it was the IBC, the ALA, and the AKA all in one show. It's called the Back to Bay show. And it was run by one of my hometown clubs, and I missed out on it. I would have liked to do both shows. I would have loved to just have them on separate weekends so I could have done both. But yeah, I missed out on hanging out with a lot of my old timers, seeing them in the hospitality room. Like the Keystone Class hospitality room is great. It's lovely and all, but those are like Lancaster Club old timers. There's great friends of ours, and you expect them to be loose and stuff like that. But the old timers from my club, I saw them at the couple of them at the Triple Crown, and I didn't get to hang out with them the entire night. But when I was saying goodbye, I walked through the halls, and then I stumbled across a group of them, and I was like, "Oh man, these guys are hilarious after hours." So it's definitely something that I missed out on again. But hopefully the next big show in Florida doesn't land on the same weekend as Aquashella. So, and I was also telling Vibes, the best night of the entire year was probably after Dallas Aquashella on Sunday. We went to this Mexican restaurant, got like a platter of 30 tacos or something. There was like 8 of us who split 30 tacos. I tried horchata for the first time. And then afterwards, Harley looked at me and was like, "So we doing ice cream?" And I was like already on my phone looking for ice cream spots. And I was like, "Yes, we're doing ice cream." And we found a spot that had freshly made donuts that were cut in half and filled with ice cream. And they were across the street from Jenny's ice cream. So yes, we went to both places. It was really a great time. The food that night was superb. That was probably the best night of food the entire year. I remember the year prior was when we went to Sabu's show and had Indian food for the first time. Nice. Like that was probably still better than that night, but just the food, not the people. Because Harley was there for the Indian food and the Mexican and ice cream, but not you, not New Local, Austin, and the rest of the crew. So Sam Scales was with us. I'm trying to remember Jeremy, and there's like 4 Jeremys at Aquashella.
Yes.
Sometimes we have like 3 of them in our close circle. And it's a little chaotic.
What was Papa Shrimp at though? Oh, he left on Saturday night. He left. Okay. But was he going to Dallas?
I believe he helped out with the shrimp contest.
Yeah.
So
on Saturday, before it started.
Yes, I believe so. All right, I caught back up on where I'm at. Right. But yeah, Dallas was a great show. I enjoyed the Texas show. Uh, we had some great guacamole, didn't we? Uh, I don't know about the guacamole. I'm not an avocado fan. I'm talking to you.
Oh, yeah, Jerry. At, not this past year, but prior year.
Okay.
That was on a Thursday night before Aquascape. Y'all, Jerry, there's like, I don't know, like 12 of us went out to a Mexican restaurant.
And I had my buddy Eddie with me. I think so.
I think so.
Yeah. That was a wild
And,
idea.
and Jerry goes and orders the fresh guacamole. He come over to them, mix it all. But
Yeah, I remember
that was dope.
that. Do you see Rick Forcifer or Paul Sherman at Florida events? I don't know about Rit. I'm pretty sure I do see Paul Sherman. I'm horrible with names. I'm really good with faces. So I'd have to look on Facebook and see if I'm friends with them.
Yeah. By the way, y'all, he was talking about those donuts with ice cream in the middle. I know I'm gonna ruin it for everyone, but I put a lavender ice cream in between my donuts. It was a bomb.
So I can't remember what I had, like a lavender blackberry or something like
Mhm.
that ice cream, and it wasn't horrible, but it's still. It's almost like you like licking a grandma with like a little perfume on it if you like lavender. I just gotta be honest.
Hey, and now I'm trying to imagine.
Yeah, Eddie is one of my favorite people to go out and get food with. And then yeah, lavender. And you weren't the only one either.
Right.
Somebody else was like, "Oh, lavender." It was like I think his name was Mike in the group with us. Yeah. And I was like, "Ew, you're a weird one." And then you and like New Local Austin showed up like a little bit, like 5 minutes behind everybody else, and you're like, "Yeah, I looked up the flavors. They got lavender over here. I'm gonna try it." And I'm like, "What the hell? Lavender? What kind of flavor is this?" But then we go across the street and they've got lavender as a flavor too. And I'm like, what in the Texas is this? Like, this isn't normal. And then I've seen lavender everywhere. And I'm like, why? Why? How did I get handed over to this weird dimension where lavender's all of a sudden a flavor?
Yeah.
And then I wrote something else about Shelby, and I have no idea what happened on that month. Probably Shelby did a talk or something like that. But the Aquascape was pretty much the highlight for May. And then we've got June. June was the Aquatic Expo. This is Sabu's show. Shelby is Shelby won the year prior at the Aquascape contest, so she got invited back. She did a display. Her Aquascape got showcased at the Oasi booth, which was like a dream come true for her because they've been like, you gotta get out of here, man. You're distracted. Do you hear that like in live streams when he comes up? No.
No.
Oh, all right.
Matt Blam, you want to be a star of the show.
But he'll unplug everything. he'll push buttons and
He'll
start
end the
breaking
live
everything.
stream.
He's the reason why we made this maze here of tanks.
What you need is a gate there.
No, the gate is coming for sure. The gate is going to go over there because the babies shouldn't be going that side of the house.
Yeah.
It's just I like to give them as much space and make them feel as much as the family as possible until it's the last time. And he's pretty good at you point a finger and he goes in the opposite direction. So, but Oasi has had their aqua gallery at many different shows, and it's always one of the nicer booths that's set up. So it's cool to see one of Shelby's artworks displayed in a nice manner. She's had really nice displays at Global and stuff like that too. But that was again, one of the things that we had already done this year. So there was just a lot of really nice scapes that Shelby had done throughout the year. But that show, we got to hang out with a bunch of our friends. Harley is like one of my go-tos to hang out with at most of these shows. Chance was also at this show. Ryan and Mark and everybody got to go over to Tristan's house afterwards and hang out. And then, of course, Jeff helping out and everything like that. Didn't get to go to Jeff's house at this show, but I'll talk about that later on. But that was just a lot of work and whatnot to be doing. I think Aquascape was 2 weeks prior to that show.
Right.
So NANFA was the week afterwards, and we had it on the calendar to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the Native American or the North American Native Fish Association. So it's a lot of like collecting and identification of local fish and stuff like that. And it's right up our alley. We would have really enjoyed going to that. But it just wasn't in our books. It was like in North Dakota or something like that. So not really much fish that I like want to go there and collect and learn about. I'm much more be interested about like the southern Gulf boarding states and stuff like that because I'm around more. So if I could learn some hot spots or some methods to catch some certain fish or what times of the year you want to go collecting to catch them in breeding dress.
Right.
Those are things I'd be interested in. But Oklahoma, oof. I don't know. Or maybe it was South Dakota. I can't remember where it was exactly. I should have wrote that down.
You should have.
Shelby wanted to go to that way more than I wanted to, and I was like, I don't know. I don't remember the name of the place, and Vibes doesn't remember either. I don't remember who picked the spot or anything like that, which is a bummer because I would love to go back again next year.
It was a pretty small restaurant.
It was, yeah, it wasn't like a massive chain or anything like that, but what types of wild types of Neos get pretty big, yeah. Then in all the ones with the backstripes, I feel like get really big. Greens and yellows can get pretty decent size too. Green jades. Love to see you and Shelby. Vibes is fantastic as well. He is.
Yeah.
So. That was pretty much it for June, but then in July we had. I mean, also June is Shelby's birthday month, and I wanted to do the LA Pet Fair, and she just wasn't interested in it last year, but this year for sure she's got her eyes on doing it.
Nice.
So, but July. Is FOTUS, is the Federation of Texas Aquarium Societies, which wasn't in Texas. It was actually in Louisiana, and it was in Baton Rouge, which was in Stephen P's backyard and Jenna's. So we got to go hang out with them. Got to go out and have ice cream with them. Went and got beignets. And got hooked on those, and got the kids and Shelby hooked on Cajun food even more. Our first trip to Louisiana was kind of a bummer on food, but this one definitely made up for it. We really ate our souls into some more Cajun culture for sure, and really enjoyed the actual show itself. The highlight of that show was the banquet. When you got to the banquet, they handed you an envelope with a bunch of funny money. The funny money was like Monopoly money with all of the speakers' faces on it. Since I was a speaker, my face was on the $100 bill.
Nice.
So that was great. And then after dinner was a trivia. And trivia had questions. If you got the questions right, you got more funny money. And then after trivia, you got to spend your money on an auction. It was only funny money auction. It was all donated stuff. I'm pretty sure they had stuff like CJ filters. They had a bunch of, I remember I brought home a bunch of the aquarium co-op filters. And we really just had a great time. That was a great way to implement an interaction in a banquet to get people active and keep them there. Every banquet has the boring award ceremony.
Yeah.
You know, there's always a couple people who are like geeked up about it and really looking forward to it because they're participating in it and hoping they win something. And then there's like 15 people in the room that are just like, I don't even know what these type of fish are, you know?
Right.
So then there's just other people that are just, oh man, why is it like this? It's brutal sometimes, but not all of them can be like the Keystone Clash where you got a lot of people that are like
Right.
heavily invested in way different categories and stuff like that. So um, the banquet was really enjoyable. The food was good. They had catfish. I didn't eat the catfish, but I remember the cheesecake was made up for the catfish.
Nice.
It was like a Bailey's cheese. It was a Bailey's catfish mine. How did I pass over that though? I just said mate, and I remembered about Nickman. Nickman came and spoke for our club in February. He came to the house. He did a tour video, and like when we were at this past Repticon, there was these two people that were talking to me for a while about shrimp and terrarium plants and stuff like that. Different questions coming when the days were slow, and they're like, "Man, you look really familiar." And both of them remembered me from Nickman's tour video. So I'm more recognized now from Nickman's channel than I am my own channel.
Oh, well, that ain't too bad. I mean, they'll come over and follow you.
But they got to remember the name.
Right.
So that was just overall a great time. It was kind of a slow show, but because it was in Stephen P's backyard, we got to hang out with the family, and I got to see all of Stephen and Jenna's tanks. And I didn't know Boost could get that big. I didn't know Pandagaras could get that big. They were real phenomenal tanks. Like his tanks blow my Planet tanks out of the water. They really do. I'm a shrimp breeder, and then like you can see I got like two little Planet tanks, but compared to the steroids of CO2 that Stephen P gives his plants, mine just don't compare.
Right. So did the whole family go to Louisiana?
Yeah. It was Layla's birthday that weekend.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah.
So we actually left it up to Layla on whether or not we were going to go. And Layla's like, we get to stay in a hotel, we get to travel. I'm like, yes. And like even when we go into, we just went to Georgia. We stayed in a hotel overnight, and Layla just everything goes into a spot. She kicks her shoes off, kicks the couch back, turns the cartoons on, and then just lays back. And I'm like, man, you were built for the hotel life, weren't you? And she just goes,
right on.
She's a character. But yeah, we only went because Layla wanted to, but Layla got to hang out with Lillian and Xander. I think that's her boy's name. I think that's her boy's name. I can't remember. But Jaden, the kids hung out with each other.
Yeah.
I'm horrible with names. I feel bad. I hope that's right, and then I'll feel great. My GH out the tap is moderate hard and no KH. What can I use to raise the KH for Neocaridina tank setup? You can use the GH-KH mix from the Salty Shrimp line. You can use other lines as well. I don't know what your TDS is, but even if your KH is 0, you don't need to bring it up that high. Yes, you can. I threw a few Blue Dreams into my Orange Really culls. They have since thrown a few wilds, but they also now throw Red Reallys. Will Orange Reallys throw reds, or is the influence in the blues? Chances are the influence is in the blues. The Blue Dreams will throw reds and Red Reallys and stuff like that too. Next week is going to get real cold. Plan your orders, people. I don't have too many issues with cold weather as long as the shrimp don't sit out in the mailbox for too long.
Right.
Zachary.
Oh,
that was close.
That was close.
Xander. Damn. All right. Apologies to Zachary.
Real quick, Zachary's getting in there for 125.
All right. So Then we move on. We've got August. August, we had Chicago Aquashella. That was one of the shows that Vibe missed out on. Usually, Vibes makes it to like all the Aquashellas and a couple other shows every year. But you were not there. We did have like Malcolm Reynolds and Chevy Fish there to help us out. Again, I don't know. Yeah, people knew now that the baby was on the way. So
Right.
we had significantly more help at Chicago. Um, Man, I feel like I'm missing something because before that, on one of these shows, we stayed at the Bloomfields. Maybe it was on the trip to Connecticut. That was the trip to Connecticut. That's what it was. We got to see their whole operation and everything like that. I didn't have it written down on the thing, but that was one of the cool things that happened this year. Sadly, their shrimp operation wasn't set up yet, but you got to see all the effort and work that they put into making their homemade shrimp food. Hashtag TGOE. This is your last call on the giveaway. I'm going to refresh. 46 entries.
Nice. Yeah,
Daniel Gillespie.
Congratulations, Daniel. Let us know that you're still here. And then, Grant, do you consider fluval stratum good for neo shrimp? I would recommend not using fluval stratum if you're a beginner shrimp keeper, especially if you don't like testing your pH and KH. Sometimes the aqua soils can strip out KH for quite a while before your pH stables out. So if you want to run 0 KH on it, you can do that for Neocaridina just fine, but you're going to want to avoid using tap water with stratum or other aqua soils if you're keeping Neocaridina, especially as first-time keepers. But Chicago Aquashella was still a great show. Me and Shelby both placed 4th place in the Fluval Aquascape contest.
Okay.
But I think we had a total of 22 Aquascape tanks.
Whoa.
At Aquashella, Chicago. So we were super busy. We didn't have any help because Crypt Keeper's flight got canceled.
Right.
So I pretty much ran the booth, and then Shelby scaped, and then she ran the booth, and I scaped, and we tried to get as much done on Friday that we possibly could. So it was like a mad dash to get all the tanks done and everything like that. Luckily enough, the kids were at Lucas's house, so we didn't have to worry about watching them. And Shelby was 8 months pregnant at this time. And then we drove home, and Greg Sage spoke that week. So I had to go to the airport, get Greg Sage, and I timed out my next trip to Vegas, so that way our flight flew out an hour after Greg Sage. So I drove Greg Sage to the airport, dropped him off, parked the car, and then made our way through the airport.
Nice.
Shelby was worried she was going to have issues because she was 8 months pregnant and wasn't able to go through the x-ray machine, and if they're going to give her issues flying, and had to go get a doctor's notice and everything like that. So it was quite the load to do all of that in August, but we because of our tanks in Global, we were able to go to the show in Vegas, and that's Super Zoo. It's pretty much the same exact style show. We escaped for Fluval again. We had less tanks to do, so we could kind of focus on them and make them look a little bit nicer and take our time, but a lot of time you get the right piece of wood and it's hard to beat what you did. And the tank we did in Global looked phenomenal. But it's still, the Super Zoo show was really good. We had a lot of fun. It was our first time in Vegas. Shelby had to walk around in 110-degree heat, and while she was 8 months pregnant, which she didn't enjoy. But getting to experience Vegas with kids and stuff like that, we didn't know. We wanted more kids. We don't know if we are going to have that opportunity again. So we jumped on it this year. and got to try a bunch of really nice restaurants: Gordon Ramsay, Guy Fieri. I can't remember the other one. It wasn't as big a name as chef, but we definitely got to eat a lot of really good food. It's so expensive in Vegas, so like we learned real quick, it doesn't matter if you're going to go buy a cheeseburger from Johnny Rockets or a cheeseburger from the hotel restaurant. You're still going to spend $20 on your cheeseburger,
Right,
so you might as well spend an extra $4 more and get like a gourmet.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
Definitely.
it was an experience. We only lost, I think, $60 gambling just to experience slots and blackjack, and that was it. Spent more on chocolate. So definitely have a sweet tooth that I can't get rid of. But I don't know if I'm missing anything else from Vegas. It was just a really long flight. We weren't going to drive that one, so.
So what was the highlight
of Vegas?
Yeah.
Probably going to Gordon Ramsay's. Her aunt took us out to Gordon Ramsay's, and before that, she took us out to Red Rock, the mountains, and she had to change the reservation because she's like, "Oh, we'll drive out the Red Rock real quick, and you can see it." And she drove us to like this ledge, like a viewing spot. Well, there's like a little hiking trail, and like 5 minutes out, you can just get to the Red Rocks. And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go do that real quick."
What?
And she's like, "I didn't expect you guys to do that. I had to reschedule for Gordon Ramsay." And I'm like, "I didn't know we had a reservation for Gordon Ramsay. Like I would have done all that." But no, she instead of 6:30, it was 7:30, and Shelby got to see a Roadrunner. I missed it. I was looking at the mountains out this way, not ahead of the road.
Right.
So I missed the Roadrunners. That was one thing I wanted to see, but I didn't expect to see the Red Rocks Mountains, and we got to see those. So those were phenomenal. I really enjoyed that. Took a lot of pictures. Used it as some of my aquascaping inspiration throughout the year. So
exactly worth it.
Yeah, the Red Rocks and Gordon Ramsay's was for sure the highlight. The ice cream in Vegas wasn't that good.
I'm sorry, y'all.
It wasn't the highlight. So definitely tried a lot of it, but yeah.
You definitely come to Florida for that.
The gelato was better than the ice cream. So September. This is kind of where the baby thing kind of got crazy. I did get a tattoo though in September. My tattoo appointment is on there. I traded shrimp for the tattoo, so that was pretty cool. And then Shelby had her baby shower. Jaden had an open house at a new school. And then we were gonna do Skelly Fest, but it was too close to the baby, so we decided not to do that. And then the baby was scheduled for the 26th of December, and Jimmy wanted to come film a video for Fritz, and I was like, all right, well, if you come after the baby's born, I can't guarantee that the house is going to look its best, but I'm going to get the entire house cleaned and done immaculate before the baby's here, so that way I've got like 2 or 3 months. Like this is 2 or 3 months, no, 3 months now exactly, of not cleaning, or I've done water changes, but no filters, no scraping of the tanks or anything like that. And algae is at a very minimum. There isn't a lot of issues going on in the house. Good. So this is kind of what I wanted, was I could just lazily get through the winter. I might have to jump on things and scrape all the tanks in a very short amount of time. Come here in the next 2 weeks, but if I do, that'll be all right. I've been kind of moping around for too long anyways, so I'm due for some work now. But yeah, no, the whole goal was to get everything done. So I told Jimmy, hey, whether you're coming or not, the house is gonna look good on Tuesday the 24th. And he was like, well, I'm not coming on Tuesday the 24th because I'm flying in that day. So I was like, so the 25th then. And he's like, all right, we'll do it that day. And his plan was to come film the house in like 3 or 4 hours, and then go to Lucas Brett's house and film at his house, and then spend the night at his house, and then drive back to his girlfriend's house in Orlando in the morning, right?
Wow.
And I was like, dude, you do realize that gives you like less than an hour or less than a minute per tank to film everything? He's like, oh yeah, no problem, we'll get it done. I'm like, he's a master filmer. If anybody can get it done, it's Jimmy, right? And so he gets here, and on the way here, Lucas had to cancel. Lucas had to evacuate and go to Daytona.
Right.
His house pretty much got a pretty direct hit from the hurricane. And so Jimmy was like, dude, I got all day here to film. And we were probably 5 hours into filming, or 6 hours into filming, and Shelby got a phone call from the hospital saying, hey, we want to bump you up to today and have you deliver the baby today instead of tomorrow. Oh, I'm getting the hiccups now. So we ended up having the baby the same day that Jimmy filmed the entire house, a day early. I want to say it was like almost better that way, because like there was no nerves the night before. Like I remember with Jaden twice, I was so nervous because we went in the first day, and Shelby drank this like nasty shot of vitamins and something that she has to take before she goes under, it was like 5 minutes before she was about to go into surgery, and the doctor came in and was like, hey, we messed up, we're supposed to go next week, not this week. So we had that whole restless sleep night, that night, and then all over again. And then I had the same thing for Layla, and I was probably going to have that again that night, but it instead got moved over. So it was
good.
Yeah. So I almost wanted to say, like, instead of waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning and barely getting any sleep, and it was a lot better of an experience. The hurricane and everything like that kind of made a bummer on it, because I wasn't able to spend all the time with Shelby. They shut the hospital down, and they're only allowed one person per person in there. And it's like, I got 3 of us. I got to be at home also, kind of in case like something happens with power, and I got to get the generator on, or something happens with the turtles, and I got to corral them all up or something. You never know. So September was a little bit crazy. We had the baby. The baby, of course, was the highlight of the whole year. I was really hoping I would go through this and like pick out the highlight of the year. I told you I had something that was like the highlight of my year, and I can't figure it out now. Then October, which was not, I think like 13 days after or 14 days after we had the baby, I drove up to Pennsylvania with Ryan for the Keystone Clash. So this was my first year, or first show, first out of state without Shelby helping me out. I had Tim. Tim made it to this one, so I actually had help
on time.
Yeah. And I had a lot of other people there to give me a hand and with stuff that I needed. Of course, Jenna and Annette, our friend Annette.
Yeah. Very beautiful.
Was able to help us get my booth together and situated, of course, because I never have enough tables. I never have a backdrop. And Scotty, this guy's, he's way too busy. He's doing way too much. So I try to annoy the people that kind of put up with me already. So I give it to Jenna, and then, Annette still hasn't found the bag of crushed snails that I put into her luggage every year. I'm just stacking up,
No, right?
But the Keystone Clash was fun. I got my giant pretzel. I had it all to myself. I had 2 of them, actually. Me and Tim went on a nightly ice cream run. That was a lot of fun. I had to drive his car, and all fogged up on me, and I was like, I don't know what to do in this situation. This doesn't happen to us in Florida, and we had to wait forever in like the middle of a parking lot, because like, I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to hit anybody. Right. So as soon as we started going, all the frost on the windshield just went shh, and I was like, dang, we gotta wait for this heat to defrost this now. So the north was not fun. And also, like, I made it to Ryan's house like 5 minutes away and realized I didn't have a sweater. and I didn't have a pillow to like sleep during the ride. Didn't sleep at all on the way there. Went to the store, grabbed the pillow because Ryan's like, I still got to shower and get a couple things ready. So I'm always like, if you give me a time frame and like tell me to be there between 9 and 10, I'm gonna be there at 9.
Right.
Just so we could leave early because traffic stuff like
Oh,
that. You know, so I had time to go get a sweater. I used the sweater for like 5 minutes to run out to Night Owl's car to grab something and run back in. That was it.
Yeah, it wasn't.
And then the week after the Keystone Clash, so this was a jam-packed week here. The week after the Keystone Clash, we had the Carolina Aquatic Workshop, and then the week after that, I had the Southern Expo. I spoke at the Carolina Aquatic Workshop, and I spoke 3 times at the Keystone Clash.
Whoa!
I did my shrimp talk. I did the Powerhouse talk by myself. I had to do Shelby's hat, which sucked because it's way better the two of us.
Right.
And then I did my aquascaping demonstration talk, which maybe might be the highlight of the year. It might be because it was a new talk, and a lot of times when you do a new talk, you're like, there's a lot of stuff I need to work on, and there was some stuff I needed to work on, but like I still feel like I could have done that talk just about anywhere, and it would have been a really good talk.
Good. Yeah.
So I really achieved what I was looking to do there. And then we did the Southern Expo in South Carolina. It was just a one-day show, and that was when I got to go to Jeff's house and got to see Jeff's facility and everything like that. He has a lot of Cory cats that he breeds. He has a lot of plecos and cichlids and stuff. He's got some shrimp, and I got to learn how to do a little brine shrimp hatchery setup, and I got the other hatchery now. Lady Diane gave me one when I came to visit her, or gave Shelby one, but I'm going to be using them for the newts. I don't think the male is old enough here. He's just a little tad small, so I'm thinking I should be getting some newt babies come spring on those guys. I'm trying to fatten them up, get them lots of freeze-dried worm cubes and stuff like that, but the other newts I could get breeding and spawning in no time. But yeah, October was a lot of traveling. I spent more time away from the baby than I wanted to, but it was still more time or less time that I would have spent away from the baby if I was doing landscaping full time. So
True.
I'm still really grateful that I got to go make money, and Shelby was able to actually step down from her job before she even got her job with Pisces. So it is really nice being able to do all that. Hashtag TGOE. We are giving away another gift card here in 12 minutes. Just catching back up. I got some really cool mixes from the shrimp I got from you. Some lemon heads and some Red Riding Hoods. Some totally clear ones with a thin yellow stripe going down the back line into the fin. Oh, that's cool. I love the oddballs that you get out of some of the tanks. It's hard to get them going into a line. What fish shrimp does Vibes keep? No shrimp.
No shrimp. I mean, I got the bamboo shrimp, but that don't count.
Oh, they count. They count.
Okay.
But he keeps the frontosa. It's kind of hard to see on the mug.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have the painting. It's probably at home.
It's at home.
Layla drew him a frontosa. Did you see it in the dark?
Not yet.
I didn't see it in the dark, but I saw her little art easel, or I don't know what it's called. The little thing that she puts all of her paints into.
Yeah.
The glow in the dark one was all lit up at night. So
cool. I'm excited.
Yeah, you gotta get a picture of it and send me it.
Yeah.
But she drew him a frontosa, and what else do you keep?
I got a saltwater tank, but I really don't talk about that very much. But I keep a lot of rainbows, killifish, limias, a lot of Tangan cichlids, shellies, all sorts. But most of the frontosas are my highlight. Well,
and by the way, this is Jesse, Just One More Fish. This is who I showed you all of the photos of the warehouse
Yeah.
fish room build that he built. Yeah,
Okay.
not a warehouse, but
Yeah. Right.
barn.
Yeah.
Barn. Is it a barn?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's remarkable what you've done with that
Yeah.
thing.
And my newest one is Molly's Sofin that I put them locally in Texas, weeding them out. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, assume everything in Vegas is a lie. Uh, no. Grant, have you ever put a bay leaf in a shrimp tank? I'm not saying I did. I'm just asking for a friend. No, you've got some comments. I believe Shelby has warned me before in the past, just not to bring up your comments on the stream. You're fishing tonight. You're like, how many times can I get a hook? Am I the only one that enjoys eating shrimp a lot? But since I've started keeping them over the years, I feel different about eating them. I eat a lot of shrimp compared to fish and a lot more shrimp than Shelby does and stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't look at them any differently now that I keep them. I still eat them. I am more particular though on like fresh shrimp and the vein and looking for that and stuff like that. So I definitely am a little bit more picky about what shrimp I eat, but I eat a lot of shrimp. We've got a hot pot that I like going to that I'll definitely eat a couple shrimp every time I go.
Nice.
But I eat way more of the beef. The peppered beef, and then there's this other beef that they have. I can't remember what it's called, but it is seasoned well. And passing one said, not you at all, but I have to find a way to separate food from art. Justin, not yet, and I hope I don't develop that feeling yet. I love eating shrimp, sea bugs. You don't like eating sea bugs? All right. Here's a good comment from Passing Wind. There's 68 people watching and only 40 likes. I read the rest though in case it was a threat. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, gotta be careful here.
Yeah. And I know Les, he said thanks in the chat. So.
And Jenna said, Scotty is never busy at the class. Just locate him and have him sit and talk to him for hours with you.
There you go. I had to remember that.
Scotty's got a step count still remembered from the clash.
Nice.
Over 40K steps this year. Yeah, we gotta get signed up. I left it up to Jesse and Crypt Keeper to get it all figured out for me. Tim helps me out in the past, and Jesse and us were all going to get like an entire aisle, so that way we're all locked in. We've got all of our power and everything figured out.
Nice.
Do we need to enter again? No. If you've entered hashtag TGOE, you are entered for the entire live stream. You just must be here when I say your name, and you must respond. Otherwise, we will roll it again. Are bamboo shrimp easier or more difficult to breed than Neo? So all of the bamboo shrimp that you've pretty much ever seen are wild caught. There is, I believe, somebody that is breeding very small batches of bamboo shrimp, but it's like not very successful baby survival ratio. So they're not easy to breed. Neocaridina are extremely easy to breed. Mm-hmm. So same with Amano, same with the red-nosed shrimp. They're almost all wild, and ghost shrimp. They're almost all wild caught. Jesse said they need brackish to breed. So I don't know exactly if they need the brackish water to breed, but like Amano shrimp, they can have the eggs in fresh water. They release the larvae in fresh water. The larvae get washed out to the ocean. Maybe they hang out in the brackish. Maybe they go all the way out to full salt. but they basically start off as larvae, eat plankton as filter feeders, and then they morph like a cocoon, caterpillar to cocoon to a butterfly into an actual amano shrimp that you see, and then it makes its way back up into the freshwater streams where it's safer and the food's easy and it's clean water and stuff like that. So
that's cool.
They like the flow. It's 100 square in his barn. I was right. It's a barn. Vibes. I've been waiting for a school of rainbows for a while. Which species do you have?
I got Bosemani.
Bosemani.
There's some other ones I got that I just got over the year, this year. And I have no idea what they are. That's bad, eh? I'm gonna have a hybrid in my hands after a while.
Tim's got a hybrid rainbow tank.
Nice.
Amano, he wants to try Amanos just for the challenge. Those things are viciously difficult to breed correctly. It's wild how they breed naturally in the wild. It's a process, and then it just so happens that the world has the perfect environment to set it up for them.
Right.
It's hard to mimic those conditions. Just trying to catch up. The thing that impressed me the most about you is that it wasn't high-pressured sales, and he even took a great amount of time to talk. I was telling Vibes, there's this chameleon lady at the show, and it's hard to walk away from her. And I'm like, listen, lady, I was trying to keep it a budget. I was trying to spend like $300 on my daughter for Christmas on the chameleons. And I've worked for the cage and all that. So if you take my time into it, like I've already put way more into her Christmas present than a lot of people put into their kids' gifts. And she's trying to sell me like a $700 chameleon, and like made me feel so guilty when I walked away. And I was like, man, like, sorry you didn't have like smaller ones like everybody else did, but I wasn't trying to buy a full colored male. I also want her to like get attached and grow up with the thing, and see it grow up and change colors. So I like to hear this, that you didn't feel pressured from me. I always get a little nudge from Shelby sometimes. I'm sorry, you were messing with her face when I did that.
Oh, you're good.
I get a little nudge from Shelby sometimes because I talk more than I help people out, and there might be some people on the side. I need to learn how to like help people and continue conversations, and that's something I tried to work on a lot in those last few shows. But I definitely try to give everybody their time of day, and I always love to talk about shrimp. So the people that ask me the fish questions, and I'm like, why? Don't ask me. I don't know. I don't know.
Hey, they're trying to encourage you to start more fish tanks.
So hashtag TGOE. We got 2 minutes left until we're going to be doing this next giveaway. It won't be the last one. We'll get the last one raffled off here after December's done. We got November here too. I was just trying to catch up on chat. Shelby looks a little bit different. Yeah, I won't be finding anything in your hair.
No, nope. Good thing.
All right.
No duckweed.
I am caught up on chat. November pretty much was just Daytona Aquascape. Besides, Thanksgiving and Black Friday sales and everything like that. You were at Aquascape Daytona. So Vibes, tell us a little bit about that.
It was interesting. I flew in on Friday. I got around lunchtime to Orlando. Drove over there to the event. People were hanging around, but it was kind of slow. Saturday, I got to hang out with Grant. Hey, when Grant's doing his Aquascape, don't bug him. He's focused. Literally, all sold out to the tank. Don't bug him.
No, that is not true. That is not true because, all right, I'll say this. I had a friend that I've only met once in person, and I saw him at the show on Saturday only. And it was while I was aquascaping, and he was at another booth, just one booth over. And I know he kept glancing over and looking at me, but I never was able to catch eye contact with him to go, hey, yo, come on over, like, come say hi or something like that. And then I talked to Mark about it afterwards, and he's like, yeah, dude, he didn't want to bother you. You're like, da 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 da. And I was like, I was at a moment where I had rebuilt one of my islands and went to fix the other one, and somebody stepped on my island and broke it. So there's a line where people aren't supposed to cross, but everybody was crossing the line to look around to see what was holding it up and stuff like that. Somebody stepped on it. They probably don't even know that they broke something because it's just dragon stone.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
It crumbles when you step on it anyways. So I was like, oh, I have to rebuild it for like the third time. Because I broke it twice myself, but then this person crushed it, so I had to like totally rebuild it.
Right.
And I could have just used like, you know, a good, hey dude, how you doing? Like change of like, I don't know, the anxiousness was overwhelming at that moment.
Right.
So don't feel like you can't approach me when I'm aquascaping. But just know this, I might need something. So if you come to me, I might ask for a favor. I am known to, or I don't know if I'm known for it, but I do know that there's certain people that walk by and I'm like, Richard Reynolds, you're one of them. I know I can ask you for help and you're gonna get the job done. So if I know you and I need help in that moment, I know you can get the job done. Especially the Aquascape contest, I'm asking for help.
And then, probably the best part of it was Sunday evening. The tear down the tanks. Grant show they took off the dome kind of thing, you know. Me and Ashley and the other guy. Who's the other guy? Wasn't Jeremy?
Jeremy and Harley.
Someone else was helping us. The three of us, and we told. Oh no, it was from Envy.
Rob Bloomfield.
Yeah, his wife.
And Sheree.
Yeah, that's for what we tore all the tanks down, come back in the cave, got all wrapped up, and put the sign down and all that. Then we went out to put fish, seafood.
You got seafood. I did not get seafood.
Well, what'd you get?
Not seafood. I guarantee you, I did not get seafood. I think I have wings.
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah, I went and ordered the dolphin.
I don't know.
That was awesome.
I remember the spot was right on the beach, and then we said, all right, we're going to go meet up at ice cream. And Sam Scales wasn't with us. And Harley had given Sam Scales the location so we could go meet at Dunkin' Donuts. However, I didn't know about that. I didn't know Sam Scales got an invite. I didn't know anything was going to happen with Sam. But I do know you guys went to walk to your hotel, and we went to walk to our cars. Well, across from our parking lot was an ice cream shop. So we screamed bloody murder. I don't think you realize. We were yelling, there's ice cream over here. Nobody turned their head. We called and called all of your phones. Nobody picked up their phone. You guys made it into your hotel room, and finally somebody picked up, and we're like, hey, there's an ice cream shop right next to our parking lot. You guys need to turn around and come back. So it was like a 3-minute walk for you guys to come back. But, of course, Sam Ubered to the other ice cream spot. And Harley forgot about it.
That's that.
Yeah, it was. And shame on Harley. But it was still, it was okay ice cream. It wasn't the best ice cream, but we were going to meet Sam at Baskin Robbins. And I was like, we ain't going to Baskin Robbins. We got to have something better. So there's like this spot right here. Not that Baskin Robbins is bad. It's just I literally can get Baskin Robbins anywhere, anytime I want. Right. So, it ended up being a good day. And then the next day, we went to the beach with us too, yeah?
No.
You didn't go to the beach?
I went with y'all. I went to the beach earlier that day, Monday. But then I met up with y'all at IHOP.
You didn't play hacky sack with us in the parking lot?
No,
I swear you hung out for a little bit before you left.
because I have an airport catch.
I know. I just thought you hung out for a little bit and then you left first, and then we left. All right. We bought a hacky sack and we played hacky sack in the parking lot. You missed it. Sorry.
No, I did.
Yeah. Then we went to the beach, taught the kids how to boogie board, and then it just started pouring down with rain on us.
Wow.
So I thought you left right before that.
And it's a good thing I left when I did. I was the last person on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I about missed the flight.
Yeah.
It was that close. Eesh, that's not fun.
Wow. So yeah, I got most creative for my skate. That was cool. I also got most creative in Chicago. So I always try to go for most creative or people's choice. Those are, to me, a little bit more prestigious than just getting first place, because I've seen a lot of times where first place in the aquascaping hobby, it's first just because there's nothing wrong with it, and when it's natural, it's hard to get something wrong. You know what I mean?
Right.
As long as you're mimicking somewhere out of nature, and to me, that doesn't always mean the best looking tank.
Right.
You know, so. I always go out of the box and hope that it's also the best looking tank and something perfectly not perfect from nature. You know, it's hard to be that perfect and not perfect.
The highlight, the whole event was hanging out with Grant and Shelby. Of course, everybody else too. Yeah.
See, my night was the next Saturday night where we all got to go out and had ice cream together. There was like 25 of us. We all went to Cold Stone.
I missed out on that.
You missed out on that? Did. What?
I tell you what.
We had Cold Stone like 2 nights in a row too. You missed out.
I did. Oh, wow.
So what's hashtag TGOE for? A $25 gift card to our website, tgoeshrimp.com. We have our winter sales going on right now. Everything is buy 10, get 3 free, or basically our holiday sales. And then one of my Amanos is ready to drop a ton of little shrimps, but I'm not messing with raising them yet. They'll pretty much just end up snacks for anything in that tank then.
Oh, yeah, giveaway.
Yeah, we got 8 minutes.
Okay, all right.
Do I do any undergraduate filters? No. And actually, Shelby recognized this on the bag of Brightwell substrate. It says do not use with undergraduate filtration.
Why is that?
I think because it breaks down the substrate.
Oh, yeah, it would.
It does. It breaks it down, and then it clogs the undergraduate filters. So a lot of people do the box filters and stuff like that. It's just so much work and money that I just don't think it's worth it. Right. Did you by any chance get a different date set for the Atlanta Fish Club? Looking like we're gonna have to come meet y'all at a show if not. So the Fish Club did get back to me. It was right before Christmas. I have not had a chance to take a look at my calendar. The problem with the Atlanta Fish Club is they meet on the same date as my club. So it has to be on a month where I don't want to see the speaker and I'm not responsible for the speaker. So it's a hard one to figure out. I didn't realize that was another dilemma that I had to work around with. But I will be figuring that one out here very shortly, as well as my trip to Michigan. I wanted all that figured out, but there's been a couple of missing pieces here and there. But that person did get back to me. The months that they wanted me to come speak, is I already booked Dan's Fish.
Oh,
and I really want to see Dan, see his talk.
Right.
It's on shipping fish, and I think I'll learn something from that. And then also, Dan will get to visit the house, and then his tour video will probably be the first video of the house completely finished.
Nice.
So I'll try to get all the stands done before he's here. Maybe not. You never know.
Right.
It's always a work in progress. Something always happens. Every time I say I'm going to get it done, I don't know. Goals this year, though, we did get to 500 tanks this year. Yes. I did get my Super Tigers breeding more, and they were available I think they might still be available on the website. If they're not, they probably should be. I did get the Hummels breeding more. They're in 2 tanks. They're not available yet, though. I got to get them breeding in 2 tanks, but I did separate them out and get them breeding a lot more in the 1 tank. So who knows? Maybe I'll branch them off into a 3rd tank here shortly. And then December, I have blank, but we did do the Orlando Repticon. That was our first time doing a reptile show. Really enjoyed that, but we spent probably more money than we made, or spent all the money that we made on chameleons and other things.
So that's interesting. So how did the if customers that come from reptiles buy shrimp?
So actually, there was one of the vendors there. I can't remember what they sold exactly, but they already kept Caridina shrimp, and they were upset that we didn't have Caridina shrimp on Saturday. And I was like, well, don't worry, we're going home. Here's our website. Send us a message with what shrimp you do want. I'll go home tonight and catch them. Mm-hmm. So we brought like 6 groups of Caridina shrimp the next day on pre-orders for people that were at the show that were already keeping shrimp. There was a couple people that were keeping paludariums that wanted shrimp to go in their paludarium section, which is a great choice. Okay. There's also just a couple of people who already had fish tanks.
Yeah, because it's crossover.
And there was a whole lot of people that were like, oh, hey, I have a shrimp tank. I've been looking for shrimp, but there was a few of those. So we sold a lot more moss. A lot of the moss, all of the moss can be grown underwater and above water.
Right.
Not all the mosses can be grown underwater, though, but all the ones we have can. Yeah. So it was a good mix option to have. It really works well with the shows that have both reptile and aquatics. Like the couple of the Carolina shows that we do have both reptiles and aquatics. And I get a lot of the dart frog breeders come over and buy my mosses. Eric, one of my friends that works for ZooMed, he tried all of my mosses out in his dart frog tanks. And I was like, well, which ones worked? And he's like, all of them. I was like, great. That's all I needed to know. Right. So it's just those, and we did some foreground plants and we had 3 people who had 40-gallon tanks or bigger who needed to fully deck out their tanks and plants. Mm-hmm. So we did pretty well.
Nice.
And then also the tables are cheaper. We didn't have to drive to Texas or Chicago or anything like that. I slept in my own bed. Which
is a number one. That's good.
Yeah.
But we didn't miss you though in Texas.
I honestly think I would have had a lot better time going to Texas because I would have got hang out with you, Harley. Right. Was New Local Austin?
No, he don't be that.
I feel like I could have yanked him over there.
Yeah, I
got him to come out.
This was sweet talking. Yeah.
But then Harley made it to that show, so.
And Ryan was there.
Yeah, I thought I said Ryan. If I didn't say Ryan, but the hang out with all of you guys, that there was nobody to really hang out with at Repticon. I've known a couple of the vendors from other shows and I'm friendly, but it's not somebody that I'm like, dude, you want to go grab dinner after this, or
the ice cream?
You want to hit the factory? You know what the factory is?
No,
Cheesecake Factory.
You never took me out of one of those yet.
I don't know why. I almost go to one every Aquascape because there's one within 3 to 5 minute traveling distance, and for us, it's like an hour drive to the nearest one. So I don't go to it that often, and they have lettuce wraps. Ooh. And so I'm a big fan of lettuce wraps. They do them right. They got the right sauces, the right toppings. Mm-hmm. So I do it up at the Cheesecake Factory. Of course, I get the white chocolate, raspberry, truffle cheesecake. And it's always a good time at the factory.
So what it sounds is Grant's taking me to a factory next time.
Next time there's a show and there's a factory within 15-minute drive, we're going.
Perfect.
May come down to see Dan too. When is that talk happening? I think it's in March. It's either March or May, but I think it's March. I really want Green Neos next. Now, I don't know when I'll even have them available because almost all of them are out in the garage and it's very, very cold now, so they are going to slow down.
Right.
Sounds like money well spent. Yeah, I'm really stingy on where my money goes. Where my money goes, I mostly invest it all. Um, Sam Scales rags on me. He's like, "Do you have any T-shirts that aren't fish and aquatic related?" And I'm like, "No, because if I'm going to spend money on a T-shirt, I'm going to go and spend it at a show, support a club or something like that, and buy their T-shirt and wear their T-shirt out. I'll buy the little bags, the insulated cooler bags.
Oh, yeah.
The Keystone and the Lancaster Club has one with like a little Amish cart on it.
Mm-hmm.
My club has one, so I'll collect those where I can go. But
those are awesome.
Other than that, it's very, very few things I buy. Just jet fuel to keep the system going, aka ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait for the Hummel shrimp. I have such a nice setup for them. It's probably going to be identical water setup to what you have for them. The same stratum you told me you were using, and everything. So hopefully not stratum though. Hopefully it was Brightwell substrate. Brightwell is just a little bit more stable, and I would get it cycled now. It would probably be a little closer to the pH.
And how can people get hold of it?
Amazon. Amazon's probably the best place to buy substrate. All right. Hashtag TGOE. I'm going to spin the wheel. All
Yay!
right.
Sorry, I'm too excited for that.
Refresh. 67 entries. Where'd the spin go? Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
You got logged out.
I logged out.
You got to log in again. Ooh. Oh, yeah, it should work.
This is a Shelby thing? All right, it's back, baby. We're good. All right, refresh. 67 entries. We'll spin it.
Oak Razorback.
Oak Razorback. Congratulations. Let us know that you're still in the chat. Every time I see his name, I automatically think of my Razorback musk turtle.
Yeah.
I was going to buy one of those at Rocticon, but I decided not to. I got a little tiny, mud turtle instead. It's my first time, but Shelby was just talking to me the other day, and she was like, "Why'd you put the mud turtle in the isopod tank? Now there's no isopods in there." He ate all the isopods, and I looked at Shelby and I was like, "Weren't you the one that told me to put the turtle in there?" And she just went, "Whoop!" and looked the other way. I was like, "Yeah." It was a great idea, though. Obviously, he's a little fat little sucker now.
And he's in the chat. He's back.
All right. So congratulations. We got one more giveaway to do. I'll try to catch up on chat, and then we'll just do the giveaway. December, I really don't have anything else to talk about because the baby was under the weather today. I did not get around to figuring out the top selling shrimp of 2024 or the number one buyers. So that'll be something that I'll have for next week's live stream.
Nice.
Then we'll do that as well as goals and everything for next year. I think is on topic for next month, next year's.
Next month.
That's all the same now.
Year, yeah.
If I order 10 shrimp, do I enter 10 and you add the 3, or do I add 3? You just buy the 10 shrimp and then we throw an extra 3 shrimp into the bag on top of some extras for DOA too. I think I might have missed something. If anybody has any questions, now is your time to resubmit them.
Yeah, because his co-host is very lazy. He's not still talking to it.
It's not you. I have an issue marking where the actual comments are and everything like that, and then it bounces or it refreshes and I lose everything. So That's pretty much it. I'm trying to think if there's anything that wasn't on the calendar that we did this year that was worth mentioning. Um, no, I mean we still got duckweed in the house, so I didn't succeed on that. There's so much duckweed.
I like the duckweed though.
I hate it. Every time you go to catch, it just makes a mess, man.
Yeah, I
Makes
know.
a
I
mess.
know.
If there wasn't duckweed in my house this year, I probably would have had an extra 3 hours to myself, probably.
True.
Maybe more. Maybe more. You never know. I don't know how many times I've spent trying to clean up. All right, it is Brightwell substrate. I thought it was still referred to as stratum. No, it's all aqua soil. Stratum is the brand for Fluval.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, let's go ahead and spin that wheel. Got 10 minutes left until the top of the hour. So, I think it's a good refresh. Oh, am I? Nope, we're not. Hold on. About to spin it without everybody here.
Yeah.
So refresh, still 67 entries. We're gonna go ahead and spin it. Everyone that won email us at gardenofeater@gmail.com. Congratulations, Linda. Just let us know you're still here. Pull that down. Grant, have you used UGFs in any of your shrimp tanks, or do sponge filters just work better for your situations? I've never used an underground filter. I've done my research, and I've gotten so much success out of just your basic, simple sponge filters. The one thing I did talk about in the beginning of the stream, I said I would talk about more. The Aquarium Co-op sponge filters.
Yeah.
Shelby is pissed. She's really mad that we set up the new room with them. She's actually furious. She can't stand the fact that the rest of the house doesn't have them, and now we're going to have to end up buying them for the rest of the house. The flow, the quietness, the look of them, and everything like that. She's mad that we haven't done the entire house. Now, cost and everything like that, it definitely, just for this rack alone, I would have spent like an extra $500 to $700 and stuff like that. So, that's not that much money when you think of the large scheme of things. But when you add up 500 tanks, 500, that's $2,500 extra.
Right.
That's almost a whole rack that I could set up for that cost. You know what I mean?
Right.
So now that they're all said and done, I don't mind going through and upgrading them and buying the new filters and doing the whole house. Shelby wants to do like an entire rack at a time, where I'm more the one to go through and like this filter. Not that this one's not bad, but like this filter over here is floating. This one over here just keeps getting clogged all the time. I want to replace those ones first, and then do like the second worst filters, and then go through the worst filters and stuff like that. We'll see, but I'll probably end up in a couple of months buying like 30 of them and swapping out. Maybe Layla's room will get a good refresh, because most of the most expensive shrimp are in her room. But I don't know. We'll see. We're really happy with those. We also did it all up with Brightwell substrate. Still to this day the best substrate that we can get our hands on. So. Her room is all set up with the best of the best. We got that all set up and done just a couple of weeks ago. So, really happy with that. But yeah, just any sponge filter is, in my opinion, less work and cheaper than undergravel filters, and you won't have to replace the substrate as much.
Right.
That was not a question for me. All right, I think that is everything. Thank you, Vibes, for coming by and joining me. Thank you, Jeff Kane, and everybody. Thank you guys for your support. Did somebody besides Jeff donate? I'm really bad with memory. I remember Jeff donated twice. So
you can check by going to start.
What? Is Vibes about to teach me something here right now?
Look. Yeah. I'll tell you all.
Just Jeff Kane. I did not know that. All right. Wow. Thank you, Vibes.
Yeah.
Taught me something. I don't know if Shelby knew that either.
Oh.
So thank you, Jeff. Really appreciate that. Oh, I see Malcolm in the chat. So hopefully you were there when I said thank you for helping us out in Chicago. But yeah, I mentioned I chewed off a bit more than, or I bit off more than I did.
He did it twice.
Oh man, I'm still out of it. So it was definitely a year with not many breaks, but I enjoyed a lot of it, most of it. I say most of it because there was quite a few losses this year when you want to think about people in the fish fam.
Right.
A few losses in my family, which is why we didn't announce the baby being born as late as we did. So if it weren't for those things, this year was pretty much pretty good year. I would replicate it again if it wasn't for the losses in the insurance.
Right.
Yeah, I like having a busy schedule. I like getting things done. It was a lot harder to work for your money this year.
Right.
Hopefully next year is a little bit easier for everybody and things are a little bit better around the board. But really can't complain. The baby and everything like that. Wish she wasn't sick right now, but the last 3 months she's been healthy as can be, real happy, real precious. And you know, as soon as she's back to being better, I'll have nothing to complain about once again. So appreciate you coming on. Thank you, everybody. Happy New Year, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you, guys.
Peace out, y'all.